How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another stream. Hope you boys are having a wonderful, beautiful day. Let me get the lights, camera. Ooh, action. How you boys all doing? Welcome back, welcome back. Hope all of you are having a wonderful, beautiful evening. We got ourselves a Wednesday, dudes. More 9-1 stuff, I'm thinking. And TBC is actually out, so me and Cran were playing a little bit, trying to get some bells up and running, you know what I mean? And it looks like the guild actually has some characters boosted already to level 58 and already running dungeons. It's actually kind of cool, man. We got Team 1 and Team 2 of the raiding group of the Raiding Rainbows Guild, and all of us are going to be playing some TBC. I think it's going to be fun with friends. I don't really know what class I'm still going to play. I'm leaning towards a Shaman right now because I heard they were pretty good in TBC. I tried Rogue, dude. I tried Rogue. Honestly, literally 80% of your damage is auto attacks, and it's just like, I don't know, doesn't seem like great gameplay, because I got the beta for TBC. We got to make some max level characters. I can hit a train dummy for a little bit. I'm like, is this going to be fun? Because Rogue is great in Shadowlands. It's pretty fun. It was kind of a cool in Classic just to check out how it used to play back in the day, but I tried good old combat in TBC. I'm like, this plays exactly the same, except I guess you maintain Rupture instead of Eviscerate. So I guess that's a little different, but the rest of it, maybe there's something more in depth on it. Maybe like once you get into dungeons and it's like use gouges, using saps, interrupts, all that, like that might feel pretty good. But as for like the basic rotation gameplay, it was kind of sleeper. So I don't know what I'm going to play, dudes. I actually don't know what I'm going to play. That was the t-shirt. What's up, Isaac? How you doing, my man? We got us as Celtic, Jacob, Cran, the beautiful Azod. We got us as Kratos. We got us as Kurtzing, saying how you boys all doing. Welcome back, boys. Welcome back to another wonderful, beautiful live stream, boys. We got ourselves more Shadowlands on the way. Let's log on 9-1, boys. Let's log on to 9-1. Check out more updates. Oh my god. Blizzard. I get it. I get it. You want to sell me microtransactions. I understand it. Put TBC. Let me just get a PTR though, dude. Get to go on PTR for a second. Dude, everybody, literally everybody I know is playing some TBC. I probably should try to get a level 58 character boosted though, and try to run through some dungeons, get some gear. I think that could be kind of fun. Maybe together with the boys. But yeah, at some point I will. What's up, boys? Jacob, how you doing, my guy? Hope you're having a good one, my dude. Let me get the OBS set up so you guys can see the game. Do you know how to not get the white screen? I just using Vispots. Do you know how I can not get the white screen when I use Vispots? I have no idea. Like how the screen gets all like kind of like wavy, floaty. I don't really know how to change that, to be honest. I have no idea. So let's take a look at some of the Wowhead updates from yesterday, because I want to take a pretty close look at the Legos. I think that's the only thing we haven't really gotten to take a look at yet, is some of the Legendaries. Let's see, call those out on use effect. There gotta be one with patch notes, right? I know there's a blue post, and then there's one with the data mining. Where is the data mining one? You covered legends revealed from Monk. There's gotta be one that's data mining all the legendaries, right? Is this it? Okay, I think I found it. Yeah, we have all the Legos here, boys, and we have a blue post. Talk about the Legos and whatnot. So it said here in the blue post, and let me bring it up. So it said rune covering powers for Monk, Rogue, Shaman, Hunter, Warlock, Priest. Now, are we getting new ones for Rogue? It says have new and updated powers of May 18th. So does that mean Rogues have a new updated powers? Hold on, let's take a look at the Rogues, man. Powers. Obedience. Digestion increases your flight speed by 1% each component. Spend while fetch is active, decreases its cooldown by 1 second. Death Spike. 2 charges hits 2 additional nearby enemies. Ability from stealth while subs is active grants you one of the Shadow Blades, Adrenaline Rush, or Vendetta to your current target. Resounding Clarity. I can prevent now enemy charges for common points. Is that the one that finally works? Is that what they mean? Because Resounding Clarity did not work before, so maybe that one finally works. I guess I might be able to play with that one. While we're at it, let's go to Sinfall and test. Actually, we don't even need to do that, do we? I just want to test out the Flagellation ability. I want to see if that versatility that it gives you post-Flagellation, if that works properly right now. So we can do that on a training dummy, or a training dummy. Rather rare. That's always spawns in the this area, like a howl. Can please? Okay, I can do that. Hero. Cool. What's up, China? How you doing, my man? Oh, they got an actual, like, event here. Stop feeding rituals. Oh, that's kind of cool. Moss run a Shattering Souls put an end to the rituals. Oh, wait, that's kind of cool. Is that over here, actually? I think it's down there. Okay, there's, like, extra bonus objectives now. So this place actually has quite a bit going on for it nowadays. I like that. Alrighty, boys. Let's try this. Let's see how versatility apps part works here. So we are getting versatility stacks while Flagellation debuff is on the target. But when the debuff falls off and we just get the buff, does that keep us versatility? No, it does not. So is that legendary functioning properly? Because after the debuff is gone, it gives you haste. But it doesn't give you versatility, though. Huh. Share 12 catalog research when deliver Archivist run further research to the Archivist Codex. Okay, so they actually got relics. A lot more of them. From rare. So that stuff now consistently spawns rather than being kind of sporadic. Does not give a versatility buff during the flagellation. Is that how you spell flagellation? 2 L's. Debuff. It does. You get versatility stacking with haste. After debuff falls off and you are left with haste buff, you do not gain versatility buff on top of haste like yeah, so this like was a little weird. It basically says flagellation now increases your versatility by 1%. So like stacks of flagellation on the enemy, but also buffs on yourself. It gives you haste, but it's supposed to give you haste and versatility. And while the debuff is stacking, you gain versatility. After the debuff falls off, you still keep the haste, but you lose the versatility buff. So as far as I understand, that part does not work properly. So I'm going to submit it as a bug report just in case. Okay, so you took all my relics. And I have more of this stuff. Okay, cool. So now that it's like more consistent, you can get the resources. Let's take a look at some of the Legos today, boys. I can't take a look at all of them, but I can take a look at majority of the new Legendaries. One of them I want to take a look at are the Monk Legos. I have not got to take a look at the Legendaries at all. But I'm actually very interested to see what that's going to look like. So we got Dalfox here as a Venthyr. Let's go and grab ourselves a new Legendary for the Venthyr. Let's see if it even works, right? What's up, Tired? How you doing, my guy? Hope you're having a good one. So we're going to take a deeper look at the Monk Legendaries, because these guys actually got some Legendaries. We got some cool, interesting effects, and I'll head over to Ouroboros ASAP to show you guys some of those effects. Let me bring them up here on the side monitor, though. There's also a lot of other Legendaries that have been added, but they're not available for testing at all. Like the Warlock Legendaries are in the game, and today we can see if they are finally functional or not. But there's a lot of them, like the Monk Mage one. I guess we could try to see if we could test the Mage Legendary. We'll try to see if we could test the Hunter Legendaries. Those weren't functional prior to this. We got some Shaman Legendary updates. A lot of those weren't functional either. And then we got other Legos as well on top of that. Those Legos being, what do you call them? I forget that I could fly. That's so weird that you can fly in Shadowlands now on PTR. But we got the Monk Legos, Hunter Legos. I want to test all of them, see if they are functionally working at all or not. And with the Monk, we'll also be able to hopefully try out all the different Covenant Legos as well. Since I only have had this guy as a Venthyr. I haven't had him as any other Covenant, I don't think. Maybe during leveling I was Fae, and then I swapped to Night Fae, but I still think I should be able to swap around Covenants. I didn't switch Covenants when I was max level. This is the only time it really restricts you. So we'll see if that works out properly at all. And hopefully it will. Monks also haven't gotten new auto towns at all, have they? Like Windwalker. I wonder if there's anything new they really need, because I feel like most of their stuff is actually pretty good. Or pretty decent more than anything. Like the haste stuff. Grapple is pretty good. Disable and reach is nice. Ride the wind is pretty good. Do. Ooh, imagine pressure point with a legendary for Touch of Death as well. Cooldown on Touch of Karma. Wait, killing a player with Touch of Death reduces their main cooldown on Touch of Karma. Wait, that's weird. Is that normal? I guess it is. Anyway, boys, what legendaries are you guys interested in seeing today? Chat, what legendaries are you seeing interested in seeing? Because the ones that Blizzard said we have to take a look at today are of the following classes: Monk, Shaman, Hunter, Warlock, as well as Priest. Except you can't really look at the Priest ones. But besides that, Monk, Shaman, and Hunter and Warlock. Which ones do you guys want to see? We'll just roll them out as best as we can. Let's see if we can actually craft the Monk Legos. If we can, dude, we'll actually have ourselves quite a bit of fun. Warlock Affliction. All three Warlock specs are going to be a Lego for all three specs. They're Covenant legendaries, so it's not like spec-specific Legos. They're Covenant legendaries, so it'll be based off your Covenant abilities. The Warrior legendaries actually have been out, man. They actually have been out for a while. Let me just get a bunch of Soul Ash and guess Mastery Crit. Maybe Versa Crit is better. Yeah, I think Versa is better. Mastery, let's throw that out. Try to make stats that kind of okay for both specs. You can see for Night Fae if you want Affliction Night Fae. I can make a, I guess a Night Fae, but it won't really be an Affliction specific thing. It's a class specific, not a spec specific thing, really. Sinister Teaching would be the Monk one though. And we do have a Helm. So Sinister Teaching is a Restore Finger. So we can actually craft it. Okay, let's actually do it. And what I'll do is I'll probably copy my player who should be in Orbo still. So that'll be a faster way for me to be able to get my legendary stuff done. So it's a wrist. So we can actually try out the Venthier one. This could be pretty cool. Yeah, we'll try them out. So hopefully they're working, because yesterday they weren't in a functional state. Like they weren't actually in a... You couldn't test... You could create the legendaries, but the effects themselves were kind of off. And we'll see if the effects for this legendary actually works or not. But sometimes you add legendaries and they're not actually functional. Like you can't actually test them properly. Racer, Venthier, Crit, Versa. So we'll start with this one. I'm actually interested in how this one works. And I'll probably go to Sinfall on this guy. So looking at the Lego, it actually does have the effect, like the equip Fallen Monk, Summons, or whatever. Those were not functional because they didn't have the actual proper equip effect on them. We'll see if this one actually works. But the Fallen Order summons one additional Tiger Adept for 24 seconds. While you have an active Adept, your abilities that critically strike reduce the cooldown of your Covenant ability, which could be very interesting. Sorry, we had a little bit of a blip, boys. A little bit of a lag blip. Nothing we can do much about it, though. Hopefully, the stream didn't freeze for anybody. So let's take a look at this one again. So we need to crit. The critically reduce that hit. While you have an active adept, your abilities that critically hit reduce the cooldown of Fallen Order by 3 seconds. So we kind of need a lot of crit chances. Is there anything we can do as like a Windwalker for crits? I don't think so. I guess during our burst combo, we just want to use as many abilities as we can. So I imagine together with the Conduit imbued reflections, it makes your reflections, your monk adept, even stronger. So I imagine that'll be a pretty big combo because you'll have an extra adept the whole time, right? It summons a one extra additional adept for 24 seconds. So you'll have an adept that's constantly active. That could be cool. Should we try maybe doing AoE damage? I want to see what the cooldown of it is. Like, can we reduce it even further? Timer. Yeah, I want to see how much of a CDR can we get on Fallen Order. I'm actually interested. We're gonna go try to see if we can use as many abilities as we can to fill up our holy power. Actually, I kind of want to turn off war mode if I can, because I don't want this benefiting me too much. Cool. War mode off. Alright, you guys ready? Console fix glow 0. This command is just not working. Everyone is saying it works. The command should be able to make a screen wide and more than this portion, but nope, it's not working. Do slash reload after you type in the console. You might need to do a slash reload before it works. Okay, let's take a look at this. So we're gonna have full resources available, right? Summon the monks. We'll see if the cooldown effect is working properly for this setup. We'll see if crits actually reduce the cooldown. I don't think it's summoning the adept at all, by the way. I guess we'll see if the cooldown reduction aspect is working at all or not. Oh, I think it did reduce the cooldown. Oh, look at that, dude. We were only here for 30 seconds and already it's at a minute 30. Interesting. So maybe in AoE situations it could be pretty big. Maybe it could be kind of okay there. Hey, cooldown reduction. I think it's properly working. I just wish that cooldown reduction continued working, so not only while those monks are up that your crits give you cooldown reduction, but rather all abilities, even while your monks are down, give you some sort of cooldown reduction. But I wonder how low of CDR is going to be. It looks like we have it down to about 2 minutes. So if you have a lot of crit during an opener and a crit heavy playstyle, that could be a viable option. Hey, a crit heavy playstyle could be kind of functional with the monk ability, with the adepts. That could be pretty neat. So let's wait until the monks are back up. It looks like we're waiting here a minute 20 and we got 40 seconds on them. So it's about 2 minutes CD, which could be really good with Zoan. Oh my goodness, this actually could be kind of okay. Wait, lining up the monks together with Zoan could be huge. Because that's just a ton of damage. A ton of damage. As long as you crit enough. So maybe you'll need high enough crit in your stats to be able to gain big value off it, but it's still pretty big. That can still be pretty good. You can get add-ons and PTR, I mean. You should be able to, yeah. You should be able to. Warrior all good on 9.1? Yeah, they haven't gotten new updates so far. They've gotten new honor talent this week, but outside of that, they've already had plenty of updates. So it's about 2 minutes, 5 seconds on the Fallen Order. And I didn't even pop Zoan, so maybe crits from Zoan would have also helped increase the CDR of it. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, that's actually potentially good legendary together with the Conduit that makes your monk images, your Fallen Order monks, deal more damage at a higher levels. You always have a monk available throughout the fight, so it'll constantly keep summoning monks, but you'll have one extra monk present the whole 24 seconds of this ability. And if you crit enough, you could reduce this cooldown from 3 minutes to a 2 minute, line it up with your Zoan, which adds even more damage during your Zoan window, because Zoan, what does he do? Rank to Zoan. Can I read it anywhere? But I believe Zoan has a, let me just show it right here. Every 4 seconds, Zoan strikes your enemies with empowered lightning, dealing 10% of the damage you have dealt to those targets in the last 4 seconds. So with those monks, you're basically doing even more burst during that 2 minute window. And Zoan strikes the enemies harder. The more damage you do, the more damage your images do. And the image is hitting harder, so Zoan hits them harder. And it lines up as a 2 minute. This could be really cool. The 32% haste lag is way better. You're probably right, but this legendary does allow you a potential playstyle to have a 2 minute CD on your monks instead of 3 minutes, which I think lines up pretty well into monk playstyle in general, right? For Brewmaster, Mistweaver, as for how much tankiness, how much healing can these monks do, how much damage they provide, that's going to be really up to how Blizzard balances the ability. But this legendary at least takes a 3-minute cooldown and can make it as short as a 2-minute cooldown, which is pretty big, because this ability is a strong ability. You just gotta set it and forget it. It's not super interesting, but it is strong. For a 3-minute cooldown, it is quite sizable. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. So this is actually a decent Lego, like in what it does. As for how good it's going to be, I'm not here to make a judgment call like, is this going to be the best in slot Lego? I don't think so. It's really hard because none of these Legos that Blizzard has out so far for Covenants are looking like a replacement for any of the currently active Legendaries that we play with today. I gotta clean up my alts here real quick. So let's remove some of these guys because I'm maxed out on the amount of tunes I can copy over. Download Furry, Dal Vampy, Dal Bugbear. I think it's the Necrolord one, but I already have a Necrolord guy. Dal Bastion, Dal Tester. I kind of want to keep him. Dal Testing is what I have right now. Two Dal's fine. Mages. That's what the Covenant Legos. Dal Priestman. I'll keep him here. Dal Fae. Bastion Dal. Both of them are the same. Literally, both of them are Fae. Dal Memer. We don't really need the Dal Memer. It's okay. We clean out some space. I just want to make a bunch of different monks. Because this guy should be parked in Ouroboros. How's Beastmasters on PTR? They've gotten... Hunters have gotten new legendaries. I want to test out if they function right now. Oh, this guy's back in Sinfall. Oh, man. Dal Kyrian Monk. Dal Monk Kyrian. So this guy is going to be the Kyrian Monk. So we're going to go grab the Kyrian legendary for him. Beastmastery haven't gotten too many new things specific for Beastmastery. But Hunters did get new legendaries. We might be able to test them out on PTR. Yesterday they weren't working properly. I think Blizzard needs to let us use one Lego and one Covenant Lego together. Maybe that's what they're planning on in the future, potentially. But if they do that, then it actually won't really be the Covenant Lego and the Legend and the non-Covenant Lego. I don't think it'll be enough to make it like unique, though. Like, if they let us do two Legos, I would rather have them let us choose whatever Legos we want. Not like 1 hour Lego, one Covenant Lego. Because then it's like an absence of choice. You will always use the Covenant Lego for whatever bonus it brings to expand on your Covenant ability. But then you'll always be able to just choose only one Lego that you could actually choose. So one of the Lego is not a choice. If they are going to add us to Legos, I'd rather be a choice. But that would be an interesting way of going about it. Like, hey, you earn your Covenant Legendary, right? I guess it shouldn't even be a Legendary, because then atomization-wise, it's going to be pretty weird for lots of players, lots of classes. Because it's like, okay, well, you need a Covenant Lego. Like, what piece do you put it on? And then you'll have to change it up what that piece is, depending on the gear. I guess what I'm trying to say is, let's say you're going to be raiding in Sanctum of Domination, and you look at a Mythic raiding, right? You look at it, okay, so what is the Mythic endgame gear that I might be able to get? Chest pieces, belt, ring. Then this guy has shoulders and boots and pants. So basically, you want to set your legendaries on every one of those pieces that isn't a shoulder, pants, chest, belt. Because you know you're going to get those at a highest item level. So if you're trying to min-max your character, you'll probably end up doing it like on boots or something. Take a look at, let's say, some of the legendaries for monks, for example. Let's say you were a Kyrian monk. Kyrian ability does have feet as a legendary choice. So you could put that Lego on your feet. And then I guess you could put the haste one, Invoker's Delight, on a head or shoulder. I guess you would end up putting it on the head piece. Because you already have a chest, belt, that would be good for endgame. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if they did make it so that you can get Lego, two of them, one of them have to be the Covenant Lego, it'd just be weird on itemization for players. Because it'll be less of a choice of itemization, and rather like you're forced to pick specific spots on your gear for that itemization. And that gets weird when you have multiple sets of gear for multiple purposes. You know? Because then I feel like you have to give up a slot to put a legendary on it. But if they let us at least make whatever legendary we choose, like let us make 2 annual Legos, and just make Covenant Legos more competitive, then I think at least it'll be more of a choice, more of an option. But I'm not against the idea of them allowing us a freebie with the Covenant Legendary. Because those Covenant Legendaries generally kind of solve an issue of that Covenant ability that it may have. It doesn't work for every situation, but it can solve issues. Like not the flagellation ability, I guess flagellation ability. It's kind of a longish cooldown. It doesn't line up with rogue CDs properly, but make it at a 1 minute cooldown instead of 1.5 does make it a lot better and easier to play with. Stuff like that, right? So it said feet. Okay, so I'll take the helm, swap it out to this. And we'll go grab that. We gotta be Kyrian first, actually. Let me join the Kyrian. And we'll go grab the Kyrian Lego. The Kyrian Lego sounds busted. I think it's Weapons of Order will summon Zuen. So that seems pretty strong by itself. But we'll test it out ourselves. But summon Survival Hunter can go brrr in 9-1. It should be able to. If our legendaries work properly, we'd be able to, I think. Cool. I never was a Kyrian on this guy, so here we are. Alright, let me go craft my legendary, boys. My Kyrian Lego. And hopefully it'll work properly. Hopefully I have enough Soul Ash to make it happen too. I mean, Warrior was not bad in 9-1. What do you mean? Yeah, Warriors are, I mean, in PvE, I guess Warriors are not super superb in 9-1. In PvP, it's a different story. I think they're gonna get better in 9-1. Like, you'll have better gear. So I imagine you would just go stronger. Okay, so it looks like it should work properly. Order a weapon calls for Zuen, the white tiger, to assist you for 12 seconds. Cool. Can't I go to the monk Zem pilgrimage and hit a trained dummy in Zem pilgrimage? Wouldn't that be the fastest way for me to test? Okay, I didn't get the right Zen pilgrimage, but that's okay. We'll go to Orgrimmar. I thought the Zen pilgrimage would take me to the Legion zone, but apparently I never unlocked it on this monk. So, I'm okay with it. So we'll head to Orgrimmar. So with this one, I mean, you get an extra Zuen. Does that mean you can have 2 Zuens out at once? Or does that mean it'll summon a Zuen, but it'll replace an existing Zuen? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where is it? There we go. So Weapons of Order's ability is a 1.2 minute cooldown, actually. I thought it was 1.5 for some reason. Gives you master, but quite a bit. Violent Second reduces cheat cost of you 5 seconds. Blackout Kick reduces cooldown of effective ability by additional 1 second, so you can do more fists, more kicks. Let's see how this works. Oh my god, the Demon Hunter just have so many stacks of this debuff. That dummy's just taking so much extra fire damage, it's not even funny. That's actually hilarious. Okay, let's see what one of these trained dummies. Yeah, one of these things. Okay, cool. So let's see how this works. So this thing is supposed to summon Zuen with this legendary effect. Weapons of Order calls for Zuen, the white tiger, to assist you for 12 seconds. Does this summon a Zuen if I already have a Zuen? So I already have a Zuen. Oh, a second Zuen! What the hell is that? Oh, what? Oh my god, dude, we got another Zuen, huh? What? Another Zuen. Wait a second, that's kind of crazy. Dude, look at that. Crackling Jade Lightning. Yo, a second Zuen. Wait, that's actually kind of insane. I didn't know if it would actually summon a second one. I thought it honestly would overwrite my currently active Zuen. I'm not even joking, I thought it would just overwrite my currently active Zuen. That could be kind of cool. Yeah, you get a second Zuen. It doesn't overwrite an active Zuen. This one does last only 12 seconds though. So you'll want to summon the main Zuen that lasts there for like 24 seconds. Then you'll lose Weapons of Order whenever you use a rotation. That's kind of cool. Now, I do want to know, when do you use Weapons of Order in your rotation? Because I don't play Kyrian Monk. I don't know when you use Weapons of Order. So let me go look at a guide. That's pretty big value. That means for the other monks, it will summon an extra GG and will summon an extra New Zawa. So as a New Zawa, that's an extra defensive. So as a Brewmaster, you can separate New Zawa from Weapons of Order and have 2 separate defensives, making Weapons of Order even better as a defensive ability. Like, that's more stagger absorption. It's a much more powerful defensive, because New Zawa is a pretty big defensive. Or if anything, I guess some people have a different, I guess, understanding what a big defensive is. Like, a bubble for Paladin would be a big defensive. Everything else is low tier, but New Zawa is a defensive for you. It's a big button. You would want to use it when you take a big damage. I guess you can also use New Zawa for damage too, but he helps you with stagger. Anyway, rotation. How do you play Kyrian Monk? I'll take you guys with me. Let's say you're a Kyrian Covenant. When do you use Weapons of Order? So you summon the wind, then Weapons of Order, then Storm, Earth, and Fire, then go through rotation, it looks like. Oh. Use on cooldown with Zuen, the white target to increase burst window. So this is going to give you even a bigger burst window. It does mean you lose out on that haste. So what is going to be better? A hasted up Zuen or 2 Zuens? You know? What's better? A hasted up Zuen or 2 of them? That's actually kind of nutty. That's actually a lot of CD. That's a big CD. This means it could be a pretty big CD for Mystery Monks too, because they can go fist weaving with Yulon or the Red Crane. GG. Wow, this is an interesting Lego. I feel like it offers you, like, of course for Moonwalker it offers you a bigger window. Upper range to keys of Kyrian Monk is weapons as one CD is the burst. Okay. It just, I was not someone who started off with Kyrian Monk. I actually play Venthyr. Just thought try something different, something new. Alright, let's go and make a Night Fae or Necrolord, boys. Night Fae or Necrolord? Haste, you think haste is better? Dal, Monk, Necro, or Fae? What are you thinking, boys? This Lego is too OP, but it's a cool Lego. I wonder how it'll work out in The Sims. I think they would need to nerf the haste Lego to make any other Legos better. I look at some of the Monk Sims, and there are other Legos that are so far behind compared to the haste one. Just the hasted up Zuen is huge. I wonder though. The fact that it summons a second Zuen, I think maybe gives it some potential. Necro? Okay, we're gonna go Tox. Dal Tox. Wait. Dal Monk Toxic. Okay, that'll work out. We'll go make a Necro Legendary real quick. Test that one out. That one I think is pretty normal. I think it's you have a chance for your abilities to send out a Bone Dust Brew at enemies. Bone Dust Brew can be pretty decent AoE. In single target, I don't think it has too much value. But in AoE, I think it actually has decent value. I know there's some monks that are playing Necrolord for the AoE component. But maybe it's also one of those things where it's like, maybe they're a group, they don't have a Necrolord as part of their group. So them being Necrolord helps a bit. So we'll go switch Covenants real quickly. First set myself flying. No, just my add-ons. Okay, let's see. Bountiful Brew. Yep, your abilities have a low chance to cast Bone Dust Brew at your target's location. Necrolord Monk. Let's see, dude. Can I peep this? For monks. At least for Windwalker. Because the healing benefit for Mystery isn't that bad with Necrolord. For Brewmaster, it's also not terrible either. Strength of all Covenants is sustained AoE, but the weakest in single target, meaning you'll really be a specialist in one, not very strong in the other. I guess monks are really good at AoE anyway, so making AoE even stronger is going to be pretty good. This ability is the strongest in Mythic Plus fights. We have a bunch of targets to hit during its window. Maybe your mode just spamming the heck out of Spin Crate, ignore mastery. Wow, actually cannibalizing mechanics, huh? That's kind of crazy. But that will take time to test the math out. I'm pretty sure this was written a while ago, and pretty sure somebody by now did the math. Did the Sims. Your ability has a 50% chance to affect the target a second time with 35 effectiveness with shadow damage or healing. Spinning Crate refunds 1 chi when second aim is with the Bone Dust Brew active. That's pretty good. Gust of Mist heals the target with your Bone Dust Brew. Active additional. So Gust of Mist heals for extra. Target Palm Cake Smash reduces the cooldown of your brews. Oh, it actually has a defensive benefit for Brewmaster. I didn't realize that. That's actually kind of cool. I didn't realize that has a defensive benefit for Brew. This is actually really not a bad covenant for healers. Or for Brewmaster. But Moonwalker again, I see the huge AoE potential with more spin to win. Let's try it out. Let's see how often it procs. We'll maybe hit an aim for like, I don't know, 3 minutes. See how often it procs Bone Dust Brew. I see this bug is still in the game. How's it been a long time? What's up, Reggie? How you doing, my man? How did it look opening go yesterday? It went pretty good, actually. We got quite a bit of gear on a lot of my alts, man. I'd be down to do some keys today, if anything, if we can get through all the PTR 191 stuff. But right now, I'm just taking a look at some of the newer legendaries that got added for a variety of classes. Not all of them are functional, so I'm testing out the ones that are functional and which ones are not. That card's bad for Wonderwalker, but good for Brew and Miss. Well, I would imagine it's not bad, depending on your situation, right? Like, if you're doing keys, it could go Necro. Like, I would imagine, like, let's just be nuanced. Yes, technically, Necrolord curing ability is the strongest on average, but if, let's say, your group for Mythic Plus pushers, you guys don't have a Necrolord in the group, I guess the Windwalker could swap to Necrolord. You will still have quite a bit of AoE damage, even though your boss damage will suffer a little bit. Shoulder and chest. Okay. Let's go for a chest piece, I guess. I think I always make shoulders when I can. Oh, we also gotta change Covenants, I forget. Plus, in Mythic Plus, there's quite a lot of AoE damage that goes out. So I would even wager that the Necrolord ability with the Absorb might not be the worst, since monks don't have immunities. Having a 20% DR to certain AoE mechanics, combined with the rest of your toolkit of defensives, of the, I guess I'm thinking things like Karma, things like Diffuse Magic, Dampen Harm. That would be an extra tool into your defensive toolkit to survive certain mechanics. Because monks can be squishy. They're very similar to rogues, they just have very strong defensives. Except rogues have feint, and they have pure immunities like Cloak. But they also can vanish out of things. So it gives you some cheese in the mechanics. Current AoE and single target is way better. I guess we could sim Blood Mallet, right? We could see some of the sims on Blood Mallet. This is the patchwork character profile. I guess we could also see that too. So it has a haste buff. I don't know how best in slot this monk is. But yeah, they're bad. What about Hectic Adcleave? So apparently Nightface simming better. I guess maybe in like pure nobody is moving, not a lot of movement. Nightface is a little bit ahead, probably with a crit buff too from Corin. Naya though, I guess its mastery is huge. But maybe it's one of those things like looking at the Sims for enhancement shamans, right? So basically it's kind of like, not exactly they're lying, but they're kind of like lying when they're saying certain covenants are stronger. It's like, yes, in a very specific situation, they can be. But like, that's not a situation you'll ever see inside of a raid or a dungeon. Best of the Bountiful. Okay, and I guess we'll do the Orgrimmar thing again. We'll hit train dummies for like 2-3 minutes, and we'll see how often Bone Dust Brew procs. I guess we'll hit them for 3 minutes, because a lot of the fights last anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes in a raid. I guess in Mythic Pluses it would last a lot less often. Yeah, let's do 3 minutes. I feel like 3 minutes of hitting enemies is going to be good enough. Other new Rogue Legendaries? Nope, they haven't changed anything when it comes to Rogue Legendaries. Maybe the current Legendary is finally there for testing. We have not been able to test that one so far, but that one seems pretty standard, basic, and boring. It's not a Legendary that too many people are concerned about. It looks like Venthyr and might be a really strong Lego for the Covenant one. Necrolord can be okay in AoE, although it's already really good in AoE, but I guess like more AoE damage is never a bad thing. The Kyrian one, we talked about that one, and then there's what, Fae? The Fae one is interesting because it can give you Vendetta for 8 seconds, you can get Adrenaline Rush for 8 seconds, Shadow Blaze for 8 seconds, but that might not be strong enough on itself. I like the idea behind it. It feels like a Torghast power, but I don't know how good it'll be overall. Okay, so let's go through our full rotation. We're not going to use Bone Dust Brew. It's a minute CD, but I want to see how often Vestal the Bountiful procs Bone Dust Brew. So we're going to go for 3 minutes. Let's see how often it procs. We have details, and it should tell us applications. Ready? Probably bad on my rotation here, honestly, but it's okay. So we're seeing if it procs Bone Dust Brew. It did proc Bone Dust Brew on them once. So at least procced it once. So I wonder how often it procs it by itself. I guess what is a proc per minute? That's what I'm really wondering. I'll try to keep these guys tagged up as much as we can. Another proc. Oh, it actually procs quite a bit. Oh, it's actually procking quite often, huh? This thing is procking. That's not bad. This Bone Dust Brew is procking quite a bit. I'm liking that. So in a 3 minute, if it procs like more than 3 times, that is basically procking once a minute. So you basically get in 1 extra Bone Dust Brew a minute, which is not terrible. That's even more AoE damage. And for like Brewmaster, for example, that's even more defensive usage. So CDR and defensives, which is actually kind of good. That's actually kind of good. Like, this actually could be not that bad. I don't think it'll be better than the current Lego of Monks, because one, RNG, right? It's an RNG heavy Lego. It's an RNG chance of it, whether it procs or not. That's already, I feel like, makes it worse. So far, almost 2 minutes. I think we only had a proc 2 times, so maybe it's proc per minute. Oh, that's another proc. So if you can proc 4 times in 3 minutes, that's not terrible. So going from like group to group, like Trashback, like Mythic Pluses, for example, right? It might not be the worst. This might not be the worst Lego ever. This is interesting. I like how often it's procking. I think that might give it potential. It slowed down quite a bit, for sure. But I'm thinking it might actually have something to it. I don't know if having Zuen out is going to help it. We're going to try it. So almost at the 3 minutes. If it procs one more time, dude, that'd be pretty good. So almost 3 minutes, almost 3 minutes, almost 3 minutes. All right, now we got to stop it. Okay, so how often did it proc? Auras. Bone Dust Brew. 9 applications. So that's a debuff. It procced on me 3 times. So it's basically a once a minute proc. About a once a minute proc. So basically you'll be able to squeeze in an extra Bone Dust Brew every minute, because Bone Dust Brew is a minute CDM. So you'll have a Bone Dust Brew and then an extra Bone Dust Brew at some point during that minute. Then you'll have Bone Dust Brew that minute and then another Bone Dust Brew then. And it looked like you got 2 boneless brews within the first minute, and then it was basically pretty quiet during the minute too. But that's interesting. Not a bad Lego. I think the proc chance for it is actually pretty good. The proc chance is actually really good. Like, it's kind of consistent. I mean, it's RNG completely, but it is pretty consistent. So you can't really hate it. The problem is with the haste Lego, and it's biz and it's strong, but if they nerf the Lego, monks will lose a lot of the overall DPS. And the best Lego will change because we don't use haste because of the Lego. I mean, if you look at the monk Legos, I really think it's either an issue, and it really will depend on like how you're reading the Sims. In terms of the haste Lego. And I talked to my guildies about it, and they agreed with me on this point. So maybe you'll have a difference of opinion. Where's Monk? Okay. Windwalker. Like, their Lego invokes Delight is so far ahead of the other Legos, and I think the only way to really make the other Legos viable is to nerf Invoker's Delight. Because it's just so far ahead. Like in terms of percentage chances, or percentage increases for gain, even in AoE. Actually, Jane Ignition is becoming a little bit better in AoE. I'm happy to see that. I don't think it'll be enough to become good in dungeons. It's actually really good in dungeons. You just Invoker's Delight is so far ahead on like Cleave. Oh no, even Cleave apparently Jade Ignition isn't bad. But Invoker's Delight is just so good as a single target, and it's so dominant in the row. A lot of us were thinking back during the early version of the game that Jade Ignition was going to be the go-to. Even Suen's battle gear at least offers you some sort of a difference in playstyle. Not super interesting. Last Emperor's Capacitor used to be really, really good. Yeah, I hope they do a little bit of rebalancing with some of the legendaries. But with the new Legos that I've gotten so far, I'm actually kind of excited. Okay, so my words on this one. This, I kind of like the fact that it will procs often, but it is an RNG Lego. Technically, for a Brewmaster, inside of like a key or inside of a raid, that is more cooldown reduction for the Brewmaster that it offers. For a Windwalk, for Mistweaver, it is more healing, just throughput numbers. Pretty short cooldown and procs quite often, so just more uses of it. So the fact that it's a minute CD, the RNG doesn't matter nearly as much. It's just extra bonus usages, I guess, in a sense. It would almost like if you gave this ability 2 charges and you could use it every 30 seconds or so. Or if you were to reduce the ability down to like 30-second CD, more or less. There were going to be elements where like you throw Boneless Brew and then it throws the second Boneless Brew, and then you probably overlap in the value of it. Or maybe you're just getting double the benefit though, like on defensive CD wise. And actually that won't matter too much. Like the RNG aspect of this Lego, people are not gonna like the RNG, but because the ability is 1 minute CD, you get to use it quite often. And with the RNG of this, proccing on average once a minute, it feels like it's just like it's better because the CD of this ability is low, so you're actually getting more uses out of it, while still keeping it pretty consistent on a minute CD. You can play it around when you need to use Bone Dust Brew defensively, offensively, for healing. As a monk, Windwalker, healer, tank. But for Windwalker on single target, it just doesn't have that much value. Maybe with the ability proccing as often as it does, it could potentially be kind of okay on single target. But then again, we're back to the topic of Invoker's Delight, right? It's way too good. But monks don't need nerfs is the problem. I think the other Legos are better. Both the other Legos better. Sometimes it's not the way to go though. Sometimes you can buff the other Legos as much as you want to, but with the setup that the Invoker's Delight has, it's just too good for the synergy with Zoen. Like even if you were to buff the others, it just wouldn't make a difference, right? Sometimes there are legendaries that are too strong because of multiple factors, not because, oh, it's just really strong because right now it sims really well. It's like there's specific synergy with specific abilities that it offers you extra big value on your playstyle. And Invoker's Zoen, or Invoker's Delight with Zoen specifically, that combo is extremely strong. Because it's kind of sort of strong on the other specs as well, but for Windwalker just too strong. That where even if you were to buff the other Legos, you just wouldn't change, you wouldn't switch to them at all. Like you would need to over buff the other Legos, make them super giga value, and even then, like, the delta won't be there. Bring back them when P1 classes are pretty close in skill base and gear. War classes is pretty close in skill and gear. I feel like we remember Mr. Pandaria and like other expansions like, oh man, remember when things were back about skill? Mr. Pandaria was pretty big on gear. Really big on gear. I don't remember if you played PvP, but like gear was everything. A guy in greens was meat for everybody in purples and blues even. I don't know, I don't agree with that one. I read Decayed Nerf, I'm about to delete the game. Really? Over a Death Knight Nerf? Why? Can you make a look at the Hunter Covenants and be NBM a deal? What do you mean by NBM a deal? Let's take a look at the one more legendary for Night Fae, for monks. That's the only one that I haven't taken a look at yet. So far, I actually like the monk Legos. I think all of them are interesting. It's at least they're trying to accomplish something new, something different. And that's what I think is really cool. Fairy. Yeah, monk fairy. So far, I think the Legos we've taken a look at for now. Hey, Kren, I think you'll be interested to hear this. Fairlina and Mankrik server have long queue times in TBC Classic pre-patch. Only Fairlina and Mankrik out of all the servers, honestly. Mankrik out of all the servers. I remember people hating OP and then magically they didn't. I think it's while you're playing the expansion, people complain about it. But when the expansion is gone, people only talk good things about it. Like, I remember when Legion came out, people were like, Legion is garbage, give me WoD. And it was like, are you serious? Like, there's no way people were... Like, everybody collectively hated WoD. Unless you were primarily a raider. Raiding was the only good thing about... raids is what WoW does all the time well. Everything else sucked. Hell, even PvP sucked. I remember people complained about PvP at WoD. And once WoD is gone, they're like, oh man, WoD PvP was so good. I'm like, what? And it's sometimes for people that used to... there's some people I know that used to absolutely soil WoD PvP. Absolutely trashing it day in and day out. That was like actually like a headache inducing. Like, Jesus Christ, they hated WoD so badly and they trashed it while playing it constantly. Like, I knew some people that did that. And then the other day I heard him say, man, WoD PvP was so good, can we just get that back? I'm like, okay. Out of all the people, you don't say nothing about WoD. You spent a whole however many years that expansion was out trashing it, and now you're gonna say you missed it. What's wrong with you? I was legit mad. I was legit mad. I was legitimately mad. I was pissed. I was royally pissed. Oh my god. I feel like it's just when we're playing the expansion, people trash it, but after, like, in the hindsight, like, I've even heard people say, like, man, I miss BFA. Man, I miss Islands. And I was like, what? Bro, Islands? Really? The one thing everybody collectively trashed on a regular? Really? I think it's just people get used to something that you used to do back in the other expansions. Or maybe once that expansion is gone, you don't remember the bad parts of it. You only remember the good parts of it. Because a lot of people's attention is like that of cats. I don't know. I feel like most people, and I think that is true, like majority of people that play World of Warcraft end up playing the game pretty casually, right? Like, nobody ever really ends up trying to do the highest of level keys, or, you know, keys, because keys weren't exist back then, but like raiding. Let's say we were trying to do for like world first heroic raiding, and then trying to climb rating for that seasonal stuff, to get gladiator, to go for like the rank 1 stuff. A lot of people just kind of play in like the 1600, 1800 arenas, do their casual BGs, level some alts, do a couple of normal raids here and there, do dailies, maybe get a mount or two. And they kind of just like, they play the game whenever they have fun with it, but they're not like super committed. So a lot of people will remember the good parts, but they won't remember like the crappy parts, the grindy parts, the parts that suck, the parts that blew. But like a dude that, let's say, played the hell out of a raid, they'll remember like which mechanics were awesome and which mechanics were a disaster. So like, there might be a casual audience that would be like, man, Thunder King raid was awesome, and there'll be raiders that would be like, dude, like there was only 2 good fights in that raid. Please, I don't want to ever go back. You know what I mean? Like, they've had a whole different experience. So I wonder if it's maybe a lot of people's like small exposure, like people with very little exposure to the expansion, like they remember the good parts of it. But I think you hear that with every single expansion, though. Like, you spent a whole expansion, hear people trash a feature, one or the other. And we need waist and hands. Let's go for the gloves. I almost never make gloves. And we also gotta go Night Fae. Is it a test character for Artemis Covenant? I'm curious, is it viable yet? For Fae? I am just testing out the Lego friend. As in terms of, is Night Fae Monk viable? I think it's playable. I think it's completely playable. Could you kill Danny as a mythic monk? Yeah, you probably could. Mythic rating? Probably could. I see why not. Cool. I actually like the Night Fae ability. I really don't mind it. Like the Fae Stomp. I kind of like it. Feline Stomp. Which I call it as a feline stomp, but it's not a feline, it's Fae. Fae line, a line of Fae. A tree. I heard people saying recently there must be a Fae in corruption, so yeah, people only like what's gone sometimes. That's true. It's 100% true. And I feel like I hear it so often that it's like... Sometimes I just can't do much except I'm like, well, maybe I should be polite about it. Maybe I shouldn't call them out on the BS and just be like, smile and nod, smile and nod. But honestly, boys, I feel like with you guys, I can kind of just speak my mind. The abilities have a chance to reset Phelan Stomp. The ability's chance to reset Phelan Stomp is doubled. Enemies that hit Phelan Stomp are affected by Phelan Exposure, increasing their damage and healing against them by 8%. Oh! That's interesting. Oh, okay, so it just makes the Phelan ability stronger. Okay. Okay, let's go Orgrimmar. I want to hit a single target train dummy and see how well that how often that Phelan thing procs on a single target. But also how often it procs on AoE. If that procs on AoE constantly, this could be huge. There's too much growing Shadowlands, they seem to be a fame. Or when people say they miss Legion and they were like, Legion didn't have as much grind as Shadowlands. But then when people say like, man, Shadowlands is really grindy, I keep farming AP and I can never clear my full world map. And it's like, why are you farming AP? You know what I mean? Like I've literally had to ask what Legendary. Let me link him. Like some people said, man, Shadowlands is so grindy. There's so much AP you gotta get. I'm like, why are you farming AP? And they're like, well, because I have to. And it's like, well, why? And I literally had this conversation with my guildies. They're so used to farming AP from the last two expansions, they're farming AP. Can I link it? Why aren't you Twitch is a question? I used to be on Twitch. I like YouTube better. That's a short answer. I could go on a tirade, but I kind of want to check this out real quick. One thing I like about Duels in general, like the game, it's nice to see. I wouldn't be playing WoW if I didn't like it. I wouldn't be playing World of Warcraft if I didn't enjoy it, boys. Like some people out there probably play WoW because they kind of have to or whatever. I don't know what it might be. Maybe like you have a YouTube channel or whatever, or people are just used to playing WoW and they're just like coming back to WoW and they're like, well, that's just like that's the only game I'm used to. I play WoW because I like it. Can I climb these? Okay, I can't. I don't know why I wanted to. Arcane damage, arcane. Is Fae arcane? Nature. Okay, so your ability's chance to... Let's actually go hit a single target train dummy. Your ability's chance to reset Phelan Stomp is doubled. So it goes from what? What's the baseline? 6% chance. It's like a 12% chance to reset it. So you should get more resets for it, I imagine. That should be pretty good. Should we hit one of these train dummies? I guess it will. Enemies hit by Phelan Stomp are affected by Fae Exposure. Increases the damage and healing against them by 8%. Okay, so it's like a very sustained heavy playstyle. Okay, let's see how this works out. Got a full Zoan in here. So they get a debuff. Fey exposure. So we'll see how often it resets. Like how many uses I get out of Fey ability. Because it's a 30-second CD, so you would imagine I get more uses out of this ability. So far it has not reset. Still waiting on it. Fey reset, okay. But as long as I'm standing in the Fey line. Oh, it reset again, hold on. It reset again. Hey, it reset a couple times. We'll wait until Zoan is back up, so it's like a 2-minute CD, right? In 2 minutes, how much can I use a Fey line? Technically, you don't really need the legendary. Oh, it had like a really, like multiple ways. It's almost like it has 2 different Fey lines. Oh my god, what is this? Why is it drawing so many lines? GC, it just drew like so many different lines. Does it get like double the damage value? Potentially? Interesting. Another Fey line? It was just the shape that it took. It was just kind of like a fluke. Huh. Pretty cool looking. Fey line? Yeah. So Zoan is up in 20 seconds. Yeah, I think it's that angle that I had that made it draw that way. Weird. It's really cool looking. Dude, look at that. It just sprawls all over the place. That looks awesome. Maybe it's on purpose because it takes like the fact that the room forwards is pretty small. So it tries to like spread out. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. Okay, so Zoan is up. How often was I able to use Feyline Stump? The ability. It had 12 different casts, 10 different hits. That's pretty good. I mean, you use it quite often. I would imagine it'd be better for AoE. Deal nature damage to up to 5 enemies and restores health to up to 5 allies within 30 yards caught in a Fey line. Up to 5 enemies caught in a Fey line suffer additional nature damage. So there is an extra dot that comes with it, right? Fey line Stump and then Fey line Stump. So this is the one that actually is hit. That's the initial hit and the dot itself after. So it takes it from a 5% damage increase on a non-fully geared monk to like a what looks like a 7%-ish, 8%-ish maybe. That's pretty good in single target. I would imagine it's incredible in AoE. There'll be lots of targets. Yeah, I think it'll be really good for M+ for the AoE targets. So let's try this here. We're gonna try to see if we can get aggro with everything. Get a Zoan, images and everything. Feyline Stump. We'll try to hit as many enemies as we can in the Feyline Stumps. Feyline Stump. It kind of swerved a little bit, but it's okay. There we go. Now that's a good line. So as long as you can line it up like a full-on line like that, you should be able to gain quite a bit of value for it. Very linear is how you want to line it up. The damage I would imagine would be pretty decent. So does this have any benefits for like a Windwalker? I mean, Mistweaver? Or Brewmaster? Is there any advantage for Brewmaster on Fey? I guess we could take a look at it afterwards, right? Maybe we could find the WoW head, because it'll probably have like the advantages, because certain abilities for Covenants do have like spec bonuses. And it kind of looks like a straight line. I do like that. Oh, the damage it could do is quite good though. Does it try to do a straight line to hit all the enemies at once? So let's do it for 2 minutes until Zoan is back up again. Yeah? Try to stay in the Fey line as best as I can to get bonus value, bonus damage from it. Zoan is out in 8 seconds. Maybe we get one more stomp. One more stomp. Okay, so one is done. So the damage you did, like, it's actually quite a bit of AoE. Like, you do get to use it more often. That's pretty cool. Okay, now for the negatives of the Fae. So the Fae, the problem with the Fae ability is it's good if you can keep enemies in the area, right? Because if you read it carefully, and actually let me bring up the Wowhead the guide for Night Fae Monk to see if there's any benefits for Brewmaster or Mistweaver, particularly with the Fae. Like, maybe there's some kind of a bonus I'm missing. Kind of like how there was with Brewmaster, for example. Fae. Okay, so it does have a slightly different... Or is it? Stagger is 5% more effective for 8 seconds against enemies caught in the Fae line. 5 allies caught in the Fae line are healed with an Essence Font Bolt. 5 enemies caught in the Fae line suffer additional damage. So for Windwalker, you have a dot. For Mistweaver, when you use the Fae line, your allies caught in the Fae line get an extra heal from Essence Font, which is a mastery. And for Brewmaster, your stagger is 5% more effective for 8 seconds against enemies caught in the Fae line. So if you can maintain enemies debuffed by Fae line quite often as a Brewmaster, or Mistweaver, or Windwalker, that is more damage, more tankiness in a sense, and more healing for Mistweaver. The thing is, it's all about resetting the Fae lines though. And the way that the Fae lines reset, and it says even in the tooltip, your abilities have a 6% chance resetting the cooldown of Fae line while fighting in the Fae line. So already this legendary is going to be bad if for whatever reason you're hitting a boss, right? Oh, let's go. Let's fight the boss. Fae line, boss moves. Your abilities can no longer work because you're no longer in your Fae line. So try to maximize your damage increase with the Fae exposure, as well as the Fae resetting part of the legendary and all the benefits goes mute as soon as you plan your Fae ability wrong. So Fae ability, you could potentially use it inside of a raid situation to use it so you can get the resets constantly, but that means you'll just have to hold on to the Fae ability for a lot longer. So there could be moments inside of a Mythic, not really Mythic Plus, but it may be in a raid where he's like, okay, we'll have movement in 10 seconds. I have Fae ability available right now. I have to hold on to it for 10 seconds. I would imagine with the Fae ability, you would want to use it as often as possible to get the most value. But if you are playing this Covenant, this legendary, it does give you more resets. It does give you that defensive buff or that extra healing or damage to an enemy, which can be good. I wonder if a Brewmaster can use it on yourself. Like, do you get extra healing? Increases the damage and healing against them by 8%. So healing against targets or healing to allies, damage to enemies. I guess Brewmaster doesn't get the benefit of that, does it? Just get more damage, which I guess isn't bad. But if it does give you the benefit when you Fae, like if you get the benefit of 8% more healing than a Brewmaster, you could do some self-healing with it. You do have some self-healing abilities to some extent, like Chi Orbs or Orbs, for example. Those can heal you. Expel Harm heals you. Yeah, so this one is interesting, but again, it comes back to, it doesn't really solve the problem of the Night Fae thing. If you walk out of it, you lose value. It is a short CD of 30 seconds, so it's not really a big deal if you mess it up. But if you are trying to maximize it, I would imagine you would need to maximize your positionals and use this ability when you know you're going to be standing still for a while. But if, let's say, there's a certain mechanic in the next raid tier where all of a sudden, oh, I have to run out for one reason or another, and it was unplanned, and now you have to walk out of your Night Fae ability, now you just lost it. Like mechanics where you cannot pre-plan stuff. It's a really cool legendary, but it doesn't solve an issue of the Night Fae. That's my issue with it. Not a bad one though. How do you get your add-ons to PTR? So you can copy the add-ons on live game onto PTR, and that will also work. It'll be good for plus also targets. Yeah, this is not a bad one for targets at all. Yeah, in AoE. Shadowpriest or Desert Warlock for 9-1 for raiding. Hopefully they'll be good. Shadowpriest are looking pretty solid. Desert Warlock potentially could be good in 2 target cleaves. Let's see how the changes to Affliction round out Destruction, because Desert will be as good. Desert will be better if, let's say, Desert will be better if Affliction is worse next patch. And that's a possibility. All right, so out of the Monk Legos, I really like the Venthyr Lego. Out of all of them, I really like the Venthyr. Has a 3-minute cooldown, becoming a 2-minute cooldown, has potential to become a button you could use during your regular bursts, regular windows. More uses of that legendary, of that ability, which is generally a pretty strong ability by itself. It's just not an interesting ability. I like the 2-minute CD reduction on it. For Kyrian, the extra Zuen is really not bad. Not bad at all. Will it be better than the, I guess extra Zuen, but also it's extra Niozawa, extra Celestial for the other monks too. So really on that front, I feel like it could be potentially good as a defensive to kind of spread over for Brewmaster. It could be an extra healing cooldown to use as a Mistweaver. I kind of like it for the other two. For DPS, it's also Zuen, so I guess you could spread it out, but that's an extra Zuen to throw in during your burst too. Could have some potential. I really like it for the healer and tank monk. Toxic one with the Necrolord. I like it for, again, healer and tank, but also for Windwalker for AoE isn't bad either. Maybe it'll kind of make up a decent amount of difference to be okay in single target, where you could rock it. Like if you do Mythic Plus, for example, it could be a decent Mythic Plus Lego, pretty big damies, and also maybe enough boss damage to be kind of okay, but just a massive output on AoE consistently. But then again, Monk isn't really a spec, it's all about consistent AoE damage. Like, could it be? No, I feel like the way that Zuen is structured and the way that the Monk images are structured, just because of the way Zuen is, he does more damage the more damage you do. You would want to throw all your chips during Zuen, so it maybe not. So again, could also be good. It's an RNG Lego, but I think it procs often enough on a short enough CD that you will get just lots of brew usage. So it could be pretty good for the other two non-DPS specs, just because of the extra benefits of healing and cooldown reduction for Brewmaster for your brews, so more mitigation value. Fairy, I like it on AoE, but again, it doesn't solve the problem of the Night Fae ability. If you have to move, you lose the value off it. I do like the Night Fae ability as an overall. It's just a pretty simple ability. It weaves into your rotation easily. And I think also works into your Mastery playstyle as well. Just an extra button to use pretty regularly. Okay, so what other legendaries should we take a look at, boys? We got Warlock, we got Shaman, and we got Hunter. Warlock, Shaman, or Hunter, what are you guys feeling? I guess let's take a look at the Shaman stuff first, see if it's even viable or craftable right now. Because some of the Legos were not craftable at all, or not properly craftable. Oy. Maybe it works this time. Maybe they fix it. Because if it doesn't work, then all we can do is talk about hypotheticals. But I like the fact the monk stuff works. I like the Legos. I like the idea behind them. I think they need a bit of more work. Like the Night Fae, it'd be kind of cool if it was like a chance in your abilities to just reset the Fae stump, even if whether you're on it or not. Right? Maybe have it modified. Like Night Fae ability usually plays like this. While standing on the Night Fae ability, you have a chance to what am I trying to say? While staying in the Night Fae ability, you have a chance to reset it while you're standing on the Fae line. What if it made the Lego so that it changed that from a 6% chance to reset it while standing on it to just 6% chance on all abilities? So all abilities have a chance to just give you a reset, so then you can move it around more often. You can move it around more liberally. I think that'll be better. Like if that was a legendary, then I think it would have more value, more use. I think that'll be a good change. It'll make it a much stronger Lego. Okay, so let's see if these legendaries even work for the boy. So this guy's Kyrian for now. Our Kyrian Lego will be Raging Vesper Vortex. Let's see if it works. Because they still have that weird background like icon, which doesn't really look like the right icon for a legendary. Looks like a placeholder, and that's what it was yesterday. Legs and feet. Let's see if I can even craft one. Okay, so if it let me craft the Kyrian Lego, then maybe certain Legos are available. But as of right now, I have a Shaman with the Monk Lego, or the Aventier Lego, and it doesn't work properly. So maybe they fixed it. No, they didn't fix it. So if you mouse over it, I just made a foot wraps of Raging Vesper for the Vesper Totem Covenant ability. So it's a Kyrian legendary. But when I created, the effect is that of a Necrolord Shaman effect. Each additional lightning bolt generated by Primordial Wave increases your haste by 5% for 10 seconds. Which is not amazing. So that means this Lego does not work. That means the Shaman Legos right now are kind of broken and they do not work right now. A little sad. Let me check the other classes that I have had, like Warlock. Because I crafted a Lego on this guy too, and I had the same issue with him. And if none of those work, then I don't know what will. Alrighty, the Lego is, yeah, it doesn't work either. So I made Shard of Annihilation leggings, which is part of the legendary for Warlocks, Shard of Annihilation, which is a new Necro legendary. So it has it here on the tooltip, but when you craft it, it gives you a wrong effect. So yeah, the Warlock Legos cannot be tested as of right now. A little bit sad. Let's take a look at the Hunter. Maybe they'll somehow fix the Hunter. What's up, Isaac? How you doing, my man? Don't worry about this. But you exposed to that in the but you exposed to that in Discord. I'm gonna be sending that to a guildie of mine, asking him how does that make him feel. He plays a feral druid, so obviously we all think that he's a furry. ADK is your left much more fuller than the right. Yeah. It just does not look that great today. I tried, dude. I tried. For some reason, the left one just doesn't really do the trick. What about work among Kyrian Legendary? We tried it out. It was pretty decent. Hard to tell how good it's gonna be, but it's pretty decent one on paper. I don't hate it. Yeah, a lot of the stuff isn't properly working. Let me see if I can make the Kyrian Legendary, because the Hunter Legendaries have the same thing. Like they have that weird placeholder image, and when you do craft the Legos, it doesn't actually have the proper effect for them. And we'll craft the Kyrian Lego. We'll try to make the waist for it. Let's go, dude. What's up, dude? What's up, my man? Hope you're having a good one, my guy. Hope you're having a good one, my dude. Let me see if this will work. Maybe the Kyrian will work, dude. Maybe, maybe not. Did it work? Nope, it did not work. No, dude. None of it works. No, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, so now the other class Legos work, by the way, boys, by the looks of it. What's your take on Feral Druids as a Necro or Night Fae for PvP? Seems like both are kind of viable. The other more fun and the other more provoke. I think it all depends on the player and how you choose to play. I feel like both of them have proven themselves to be quite bursty and quite good. Night Fae gives you quite a bit of mobility, but also that big one button that kind of wins the games for you. With the Necrolord, you do have the bleed-based playstyle, which is sometimes really difficult to stop. I think it can sneak up on people, but also the self-healing you can have as a Necrolord is huge as well. But also Necrolord offers you the ability to also get a lot of self-healing consistently with HOTS, so seems really strong overall. Yeah, so when it comes to the other Covenant Legos, we actually cannot test them, but we can talk about them, I guess. That's what I'm thinking. Back to the Soul Stalkers is the Kyrian Legendary. When Resonating Arrow deals damage to a target, your party gains 10% increased critical strike chance for 10 seconds. I like this party combo thing, especially with how short the CD of the Kyrian ability is. It's like a, what, 1 minute CD? Yeah, Resonating Arrow is just a minute CD, so you could use it quite often. Every minute, you give your party 10% crit. So in a 5-man, that's a 50% crit for everybody in the party. 10% more crit, it's RNG, right? Whether they crit or not. But that could be beneficial during like bloodlust windows, during big burst windows. Because of the minute CD, you're going to use this ability pretty often and will generally end up with other your party members' CDs with crits. Could it be really good in certain combos, like maybe with the Fire Mage, give them 10% more crit during the combust windows? Yes. Dash Warlocks so the Chaos Bolts hit harder? Yeah, actually, in like a raid situation. It could be pretty interesting to end up to give other classes crit. I feel like your own buff is probably going to be stronger, like your own legendaries that increase your damage are probably going to be stronger than this, but I like the idea of a party buff. I think this would need to be much higher in order to have more usage for it, or maybe offer you extra value, like maybe 10% crit, 10% haste, because then that would be pretty big value for that 5-man party. That means faster casting, faster abilities. I feel like they definitely could overtune this though. Like 20% crit is too much. That would be a pretty massive crit buff, where I guess you'll almost be like, I guess Blizzard would want to balance it where it's an interesting legendary to use in specific situations. But if this is too strong, then basically it'd be like, okay, Hunter, you have to play Kyrian. We'll throw in a party to buff other classes, and that won't be a fun, but won't really be a super fun playstyle either. I feel like Blizzard needs to find a way to buff this to the point where they basically are the border of a mandatory thing to bring into parties and raids and not be mandatory, but make it so good where you could use it in like Mythic Pluses. I think it could be a really cool Lego. I like the party gain buff. I like the idea behind it. I don't think it's a bad way of going about it either. It's just most people would end up playing usually just a legend that makes their damage look better. Because I think Blizzard really wants to move away from the class playstyles where you're just a buff class for all the players. Because people complain at the alpha and the beta of like, you know, I mean, look at the PI, right? Everybody's hungry hippo for PIs. As well as the Night Fae Shadow Priest ability. Like, that gets passed around to people. I don't think it's a bad idea to use certain legendaries or playstyles to make sure your group does better. I think it's actually a more interesting way of going about it. Right? But Blizzard ends up foreseeing that people don't like the playstyle. People want more of a selfish playstyle where they see themselves do better rather than their group do better because of their actions. So I think they could totally buff it to the, like a border of a mandatory right before they hit that mandatory element where it's like, are you Hunter? Okay, you have to go Kyrian, have to play this legendary. We'll throw in a group with mages and warlocks so you can buff their damage. Like maybe giving a little bit of haste, a little bit of crit, I think would be interesting. Not enough haste and crit where like top tier raiding team would be like stacking hunters to give multiple classes in their groups like massive buffs. But like if let's say you did have a hunter, you could have this playstyle where you could make other classes do more damage. I like the premise. I don't know how good it'll be though. I think it's too weak as it is right now. Bag of munitions up to 2 targets. They actually changed this one. Wait, does that mean you can craft it? Hold on, can you craft this? They actually changed that one. They changed it from 3 targets to 2 in just a single sitting. Do I have a hunter? I guess I could. I don't want to take that spectator. I want to take hunter bites. Wait, do I have another hunter? We just tried this guy. Okay, we'll take this guy and make him a Necrolord. We'll try to see if we can craft the Necrolord legendary. Do you not do Mythic Plus on stream anymore? You only check out PTR changes when I come and check? No, Sandfood, we definitely do Mythic Plus and Mythic Pluses. We did them yesterday. If you wanted to, I could make Wednesdays for just more keys stuff. Doing more Mythic Pluses. It helps me out to do this testing and research on the new updates. It helps me when I can do them with you guys. I find it more helpful for me when I'm able to have you guys involved, because you guys can correct maybe if I don't understand something when it comes to some of the PTR stuff. It also helps me out because it helps me work on some video stuff and help me get the thought process through testing out this Legendaries live, so then I can go make a video on it later, because then it would still be time for me to have to do that in my free time. I guess it helps me out, sorry for the cough, to be able to do that on stream, so then I can get my videos out of the way and still do the streams for the raids or whatever. I'll check out yesterday's vid, TY2I. So I missed your opinion, could you tell DR real quick? For the Kyrian one, I feel like the Kyrian one is not strong enough to be used right now or to be considered. I think Blizzard could potentially buff it so it can maybe give you crit and haste for your party, and buff it as high as it can, but not get to like the border before it becomes a mandatory, because if that buff is too strong, you basically would have positions, and Blizzard doesn't want to promote simp builds where you are there to buff other classes. They keep nerfing out those playstyles because front players want to be more selfish. They want to see them do more damage rather than their party do more damage. But two, if let's say you have that simp playstyle too strong, then players will feel like it's mandatory for them inside of a raid or dungeon group to go with that specific playstyle to buff others, and that combined with players are more selfish than anything doesn't feel great on either party, or really for the player that's playing that playstyle. I think it's a cool Lego, and I really think they should buff it and get to the border before it becomes like a mandatory thing to bring into raids. Not quite there, but something that could be considered in Mythic Plus groups. I think it's a cool playstyle. I don't think a lot of people are gonna like it though, but I personally find it a cool playstyle. As a TLDR. Let's go switch to Necrolords and see if the Necro Legendary works, because they adjusted this thing. They did talk about, they did correct the tooltip recently. Up to 2 targets hit by Death Chakra, my hitbow also explosive shot. It used to be 5 targets, then it was 3 targets, now it's 2 targets. So they're nerfing it, but I don't think it's in a testable state. So I want to see if maybe they change it so now it's in a testable state or not. And I know you said TLDR. I feel like I could have shortened that even more, but I really don't know how else to shorten it. I guess it should have just been like more. I guess I try to be a little thorough to make sure that my point doesn't get lost in translation. Head piece. Let's go for. Actually, let's do wrists. Doesn't make a difference. But seeing that TLDR, I think you'll still enjoy it. You're just playing just because of a habit. Yeah. I mean, I still enjoy that kind of playstyle. I guess explain it. I do enjoy explaining it. I guess I try to make sure that I'm pretty, I guess, airtight in my explanation, that nothing gets caught out of context. Okay, it does not work either. Okay, Blizzard, you guys literally changed the tooltip for this Lego, but it's not functional. Why are you changing the tooltip if you can't even test it? Okay. This one I really like. Bag of munitions. Up to 2 targets. It used to be 3 targets, and also used to be 5 targets. Hit by the Death Chakram, which is the chakram that you throw out and bounce it between players or enemies, are also hit by explosive shot. I like the AoE potential for this. I even think single target damage wise it could be pretty good too, because the ability itself of Death Chakram is on a 45-second cooldown. Explosive shot does quite a bit of damage. It also allows all the specs that are not marksmen to gain explosive shot. Great for AoE, great for Mythic Plus, could be potentially okay in single target if the sims are high enough, but this could be like a good all-rounder Lego. I like the idea behind it. It sounds exciting as long as it properly works. We can't test it though, because it's not functional. Let me try the Venthyr one real quickly too. Let me try the Ventier one. See if that one works again. Maybe the Ventier thing works. Good luck, just keep checking the stream every once in a while. I'm sort of done with WoW after 15 years. I hope everyone's having fun though. That's awesome to hear, Shade. Sorry you're done with WoW. Are you gonna be trying TBC? But thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate you. Okay, we need to go make the Ventier Lego again, don't we? Okay. I don't remember which one of these guys had the Ventier Lego. Oh, this guy's a Necrolord. Oh, okay. Do I have a Ventier? Hold on. Do I have a Ventier Hunter? I'll just copy my Hunter. His Ventier. We'll just go recraft that Lego, see if it works properly or not. What's better, MM or BM? Right now, MM, but in the next patch, BM could potentially be better for PvP and PvE. BM for PvP, I'd say. MM for PvE. Next patch might be different. It could just swing it towards BM favor. But just have to wait and see. Basically. Huh? What is this Wild Kingdom on a talent? Call in help from one of you dismissed cutting pets for 10 seconds. Your current pet is dismissed for the rest to rest and heal for 30% of maximum health. Huh? Wait, what? Wild Kingdom. Huh. Wait, there's a new auto talent for survival hunters. Call in for help from one of you dismissed cutting pets for 10 seconds. Your current pet is dismissed to rest and heal for 30% maximum health. Wow, wait, there's a new auto talent. That wasn't in the tuning anywhere. Did they just add this? Did they just add this? This is new. Wait, is this like the survival version of the that call pet beast mastery on a talent? That's actually interesting. So you could have a defensive pet and you could have a cunning pet. So you could still get the cunning pet's master's call, but also have like the leech pet or I guess the defensive pet ability. That's interesting. Wild Kingdom. That's actually kind of cool. That's actually interesting. I think that could be actually decent legendary going forward. Wait, I did not realize it would actually make a Lego. Or another honor talent. Arcane new PvP talent not working with the Cure and Radiant Spark ability. Could you please report it as well? Yeah, when we hop on the mage, I could do it. Look up to YouTube often for lifestyle, but love your PvP videos, man. When I'm winding down for the night, appreciate your hard work. What's up, Chris? How you doing, my guy? Hope you're having a good one. Yeah, man, I used to stream on Twitch all the time, but I found it kind of difficult to get people to watch my videos to hang out on Twitch. So I decided to bring the streams to YouTube. Plus, I kind of like YouTube. I'll have to stream in here for a bit. So, legs or feet? Let's go with feet. Let's go with legs. I almost never make legs on Legos. Even though the Legos. You'd think Legos would be on the legs. Lego legs. Legos. I feel like it just fits, doesn't it? Let's see if it works. You can use Shimmer while casting Arcana Sphere. Well, hopefully they'll fix it then. It is a fairly new honor talent that was added. Yeah, it doesn't work either. Alright, so none of the Hunter Legos work, so I'm gonna guess all the other Legos don't work. Hunter, Ventier, Legendary. Bonus skill shots from Blade Shot cost 6 targets within... Oh, they actually upped it from 5 to 6. 6 targets within 8 yards, so bleed for 30% of damage done by kill shot over 6 seconds. That's actually quite a buff to the actual kill shot ability. That's really not bad. That's actually not bad. It makes the kill shot, Blade Shot combo pretty good, and it's already pretty good in single target. So it gives that ability a more single target damage, but also gives it AoE component. So this legendary solves the issue of the Ventier Hunter. It's technically not that bad on paper and not that bad in practice, but the AoE component it lacks compared to the Night Fae. So this Lego you actually gain an AoE component. but it also has a benefit for single target as well as AoE as well with that extra bleed element. 30% of the damage dealt by kill shot. Already the ability itself does all extra damage when it's procced by Flate Shot. And if it crits, it does more damage. So if you go for a crit heavy playstyle as a Night Fae Hunter, or as a Venthyr Hunter, you could have some sizable big hits with kill shots, big bleeds because of those kill shot damage. And AoE output. I like this. I like this legendary a lot. I think it's really interesting. I like it by itself, like as a legendary standalone. And finally we have Fragments of the Elder Antlers. I'm not gonna go Night Fae to try to see if we can craft it because like the other Legos with Pact and Soul Stalker, as bag of munitions, it probably isn't gonna work. But Fragments of Elder Antlers, Wild Spirits hits fewer than 5 targets. There's a 35% chance to cause Wild Spirits to damage a second time. They changed it from a 220% chance for it to hit a second time. So imagine it would be like, what, 1 hit and then 2 extra on top of that single target damage. Which is kind of what you could do with the Wild Spirits when you had the Serpent Stick Lego. You would aim shot that would proc a Wild Spirits hit. Serpent Stick Lego would also put up a dot, also procs a Wild Spirit hit. That was really good on single target. Really good on single target. So this has less than 5 targets and maximum is 5 targets. So literally anything that's a cleave or single target that isn't full 5+ target AoE, it has a 35% chance to do damage again. So I guess it does increase some value on single target, but I don't think it's going to be as competitive as the other Legos. Like Wild Spirits was good prior, but now you either have to give up the Serpent Sting playstyle, or you have to, yeah, you just, like prior to that you had Serpent Sting with aim shot and extra Wild Spirit hits. Now you could either give up Serpent Sting and get maybe a chance on extra Wild Spirit hits, or keep Serpent Sting for the consistency. This isn't a bad Lego, and maybe in like 2, 3, 4 target situations for that much burst, it could be really bursty, but it doesn't really try to solve what it used to be able to do, which was kind of like a bug, but people like the bug, and they could have just made that bug come alive as a Lego, and that would have been pretty good. Like if they made it a guarantee that it hits the second time, it was gonna be good. But nah. I've been thinking about what they said regarding Druid Covenants. I'll change to Necro. Night Fae feels like Night Fae is too obvious for people to know how to counter it. It is in a sense, yeah. Like the Swarm, you can't really stop it. Like when bleeds are in and the Swarm is on you, you're melting. Pop a defensive or maybe like an immunity. But with the Night Fae, it's a long channel, you can interrupt it. That's true. You can always go back. What's the worst, right, Martin? You can give it a try, and if you don't like it, you can just go back. Do 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 do. So the Hunter Legos are looking kind of okay. I wish I could test them though, but they are really good on paper. Let's take a look at the Warlock Legos. So those have gotten quite a bit of a change as well recently. Again, I wish you could test these. I was having fun testing the Monk Legos. As for these other Legos, you can't test them at all. So Shard of Annihilation for Decimated Bolt. Decimated Bolt increases the critical strike chance and critical strike damage of your Drained Soul, Shadow Bolt, Demon Bolt, Incinerate. So this is 3 charges of those abilities, except for Affliction as a Drained Soul. That's only 1 Drained Soul. I really like the damage output of it. The 100% crit and 50% damage makes it pretty sizable. And there are even legendaries that focus on, I guess that would be the legendary you'll be running, so then you wouldn't be able to, but if you could go double Lego, that could be a really strong combo. Pretty big nukes. Already Warlocks had a playstyle where they could go for quite a bit of damage with Incinerates, like AoE Incinerate for example, with Fire and Brimstone. Shadow Bolts and other buffs through Shadow Bolt damage you could do as a, or I guess even a Drained Soul playstyle for your Affliction. That could be interesting too. Demon Bolt's pretty good too. It does give this ability a single target ability and makes it even stronger single target. It doesn't try to make it AoE, which I think might keep it weak. I like it though, but I don't think it'll be enough to be a strong Lego. Languishing Soul Detritus. Can you test Windwalker, Monk, Hero, and Legendary? It seems so good. We tried it out earlier, Amir. If you rewind back in the DVR on the stream, you can actually see us testing Legos for Monks. You can live streams, you can rewind like a YouTube video, and then there's a button next to the play button. If you just click live, it'll just take it back to what the streamer is doing right now. Language of Soul Detritus. When Scarron Tide generates a soul shard, so basically when you put the Scarron Tide on an enemy and they die, you generate soul shard, 5 soul shards. You also will gain 100% movement speed and 40% increased critical strike chance. This used to be in the early data mining 100% crit strike chance, which would have been really strong. Although hard to line up because Scarron Tide needs to be used on a target. The target needs to die at a specific time for you to be able to line it up with cooldowns. If the target dies too quickly or too slowly, or just you put it up on a dot on an enemy and then it just dies because somebody nukes it down a little too quickly, it's hard to line it up. But the 40% crit, even though it's not 100, 40% is still a good crit window. It's only for 8 seconds though. I don't think it's going to be that good. Like 100% crit within 8 seconds. Yeah, you actually might try to find a way to play it, and you might still end up playing it in ad fights and potentially Mythic Pluses for Kyrian, but there's not a lot of Warlocks that are Kyrian to begin with, to be honest. Then we have Decayed Soul Satchel. Each target affected by Soul Rot increases your haste and critical strike chance by 5% for 8 seconds. This is the Night Fae ability. If you use it on a single target, 5% haste, 5% crit isn't a lot. But I think Soul Rot can affect up to 4 targets. So like 20% haste, 20% crit for 8 seconds. Now that's a sizable number. That's quite a bit of damage. That's a lot of Malefic Rapture spam that you can do. That's quite a bit of cleave with Chaos Balls that you can do as a dash drop. So on AoE, this is a pretty good Lego. So maybe in Mythic Plus it might be kind of okay. On single target, it just feels too lacking. Contained. I hit my elbow. Contained Perpetual Explosion, which is the Venthyr ability. Not a lot of Venthyr Warlocks out there. Impending Catastrophe's final explosion damage is increased by 75%, plus 50% for each enemy target hit on the way to its final target. 75% more damage to the Impending Catastrophe. That's quite a buff. That's quite a buff for that ability, because it doesn't really do that much good single target damage. The AoE damage is quite good, but the final damage, which is a big explosion for AoE, is really not bad. Buffing it by 15 for each target hit is actually pretty big for AoE. I wonder if this is enough to make this ability better in single target as well. Careful. Yeah. I actually like how they're buffing this one a lot. I wonder if Night Fae Venthyr could be something in the future with this Lego. The Lego itself is pretty weak though. So even if you end up buffing this Lego, I don't know. I think it'll make Venthyr Warlocks better, but could it allow Warlocks to go Venthyr in the future with this Lego? I don't really know. I feel like you could just go Night Fae with another Lego and just be super strong. You know what I mean? And I feel like as long as there's that option for Warlocks, it's going to be really difficult to go Venthyr or have to comfortably go Venthyr. Even though I really like the way ability looks, it looks fantastic. I love the curse mechanic too, that it just puts curses on everybody it hits. So that can be pretty nice, like for tanks. Could you please repeat why what they did? DK just came on a bit drunk. AMS got nerfed. It does damage reduction 20% up to a certain point. The number that which absorbs to or reduces damage up to a certain point is based on Death Knight's health. So it's a pretty small number for Unholy Death Knights and Frost Death Knights because they don't have a lot of health. A much bigger number for Blood DKs. So Death Knights are looking less good for next wave tier. This still might be really good, but the ability of AMZ lost a lot of its value with this change this week. Okay, Shaman Changes. Let's take a look at those real quickly. I feel like Shaman Legos were some of the weakest Legos. Like, some of the Legos they had are just not even worth considering. Hope you're having a good one today. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. I'm looking wrong places. Alrighty, so we got ourselves Elemental Conduit, which is the Venthyr ability. Up to 5 friendly targets hit by Chain Harvest have Riptide applied to them. Up to 5 enemy targets damaged by Chain Harvest have Flame Shack applied to them. This one could be really good for Elemental Shamans. Or, I guess there's potentially a place... No, not really. I was going to say potential playstyle for Venthyr Enhancement Shamans, but you'll need a whole nother Lego to kind of roll into it with it. Like, you will need Primal Lava Actuators together with that Venthyr Lego to really get value, because Flame Shocks periodics would just make your Lava Lash do more ton of damage, so that could be really good in the future. But as it is right now, I just extra dot damage. Flame Shocks is a bit of a damage for elemental. For enhancement, it's not a big increase. For elemental, it's lots of flame shocks, which could be further empowered to be long with your elemental, which is huge. Lots of lava bursts on AoE situation. On single target, it's not that much of an increase. But on AoE situations or more than one target situation, it's just easier to maintain flame shocks. So it's quite nice in AoE. For Restoration Shamans, that's more Riptides. I feel like the Necrolord baseline ability gives you more Riptides overall. With a Legendary for 4 Riptides gives you an extra Riptide. But if you need big AoE heal and a big Riptide spread on enemy allies, it's also pretty good. Where this is good though is the Flame Shocks. As a Rester in like Mythic Plus keys, you do more damage. You get more lava bursts as well while putting up Riptide on your allies. So maybe in keys for Rester it would be pretty good. Yeah, Rester Mythic Plus, that's what I'm thinking too. So it's not a bad one, but it does benefit only a few of the specs. Splintered Elements. Each additional lightning bolt generated by Primordial Wave increases haste by 5% for 10 seconds. So this is lightning bolt for Enhancement Shaman. This is Healing Wave by Resto Shaman, and Lava Burst for Elemental Shaman. So Primordial Wave is the ability that puts up a Riptide or a Flame Shock on the enemy and gives you, makes your next Lightning Bolt or Lava Burst hit every enemy affected by Flame Shock, or your next Healing Wave hit every ally hit by Riptide. So you could gain like, I don't know, 10% haste, 50% haste to 80% haste in big AoE situations, bunch of haste. As Elemental Shaman, you can only have 3, I guess 4 Flame Shocks. So you look at a 20% haste increase, which is kind of cool. It's alright. As a Shaman, that could be pretty good on its own. I don't think for enhancement is better than the Doom Wind's Legendary, but hey, haste is haste. For Restoration, it could also be haste, which I think Resto actually likes haste. So this could be a situationally good Lego. Doesn't seem that strong though. Each pulse of Night Witch's fusion damage effect reduces the cooldown of Feral Spirits, your Elemental or Healing Tide Totem by 7 seconds, or 6 seconds or 5 seconds depending on spec. So, the way Night Witch's fusion works is you channel it, and channel has multiple ticks in there. So I don't remember how many ticks in damage is Witch's fusion, but if it's like 3 ticks, 4 ticks, 5 ticks, 6 ticks of damage like ticking while you're channeling, that could be a lot of cooldown reduction. And with the Conduit, you can also reduce the cooldown of Night Witch's fusion ability, so you make it from like a 2 minutes to like a 1.5 minutes maybe. So that's even more CDR. More cooldown usage. For Restoration Shaman, Healing Tide is good in raids, but not really good in dungeons. It can be kind of okay in dungeons, but it's not amazing. For the DPS counterparts, Feral Spirit is a pretty big CD. That's a lot of resource generation. And Elemental for your Ellie is also pretty big CD as well. Especially with conduits that work with it. So this could be good in DPS, not amazing in my opinion for a healer. I could be proven wrong, but at least that's what I'm thinking. Raging Vesper Vortex. When all charges of Vesper Totem are consumed, Vesper Totem will radiate one final 15-yard burst for a bunch of arcane damage and healing. So basically Vesper Totem gains a 4th charge. So it'll make Vesper Totem more healing, more damage. It doesn't change Vesper Totem at all. It just gives you an extra burst at the end. It's okay. This one, I mean, Vesper Kyrian playstyle, Vesper Totem playstyle isn't really a common playstyle for any of the specs of Shaman. I like it because it's pretty simple to use. But again, all the Shaman abilities are pretty simple to use, to be honest. It just is one extra burst. Doesn't seem like much. But there's a Conduit that makes it do more damage to close the enemies or to the Vesper Totem, so maybe like on a minute CD, that's a burst of healing or burst of damage, and it has hybrid potential for like restoration. Yeah, it's mildly okay. I don't think this will be that good though. It's mild, like compared to some of the other ones. Like it has some definite benefits here and there, but this is just mild. Kind of disappointed in a sense. I don't want to say completely disappointed. Like maybe it could be kind of okay numerically, because again, I'm playing Kyrian, right? It's not like, you know, and I need it to be super giga amazing, biggest meta of metas, but I don't know. This doesn't feel that good in comparison to the others we read. But yeah, this is going to be all the Legos we had so far. Really crappy that we can't test a lot of them. Really sad we can't test a lot of them. What can you do? Is there something else I missed? with the patch notes. Let's see. We got the mall with the dailies for Korthia. Charge elimination. Enemy Sigil Soul Ash, that's pretty cool. Dungeons, they have a way for you to trade your keystone, so that's pretty neat as well. Data mine stuff, I don't really think it has anything new. So you need a score of 2000 to get KSM. Huh. So KSM is gonna have a score of 2000 for season 2. I think it's gonna be pretty easy to do actually. Getting your KSM. Oh yeah, we have also the priest legendaries, which I cannot test. I need to get my priest up and running at some point. The faster the better. Yeah, those are the only Legos I actually need to work on for now. Is the priest stuff, because Mind Games, One Somebody's Pact, and Sphere's Harmony are actually testable. One Somebody's Pact seems like it's enter the death pact with a lower calling forth a haunted mass that lingers on the target until Fey Guardian ends. Copies the benefits of the current Fey on its target. So does it give double the bonus for cooldown reduction? I need to ask my priest friend. How does this work? Shadow War manipulation seems like a potentially PvE thing or a PvP thing. Maybe it's meant to be used on enemies that you basically execute with Shadow Ward, mind games. Because mind games last longer, reverse additional 10% damage or healing on the enemy. When mind games ends, gain 3% critical strike chance for each second remaining. So maybe a PvP thing we expect it to be dispelled. So crit could be kind of nice. World first level 60 Blood of Paladin in Burning Crusade Classic. Somebody literally just got level 60 as a Blood of Paladin. Just now. Wow, that was quick. I guess it's just a mage running through stuff. Crazy. I really want to try the Sphere's Harmony priest thing. I gotta get a priest of max level ACP, dudes. Alrighty, boys. I got a raid in about an hour 30. I want to get some work done before the raid, get myself some food as well, so I think get some much going by. Tomorrow's my day off, so we're just going to be chilling. No stream tomorrow. Friday, we're coming back with a 5-hour 1-in-1 duels, and then Saturday, I think we're doing some PTR duels. Hi, Dad. What's up, John? You're coming in kind of late, Jan. We're ending the stream right here. But thank you boys so much for coming by. Appreciate all of you so much for joining us. Super fun hanging out with you boys. Tested out some of these Legos. Most likely going to be spending some time playing some other classic with the boys, or playing some Mass Effect, dude. We got 2 games. I got Mass Effect and we got classic stuff to work on as well. So I might be doing that in my free time. Leveling with Gren or doing some stuff with guildies as well. Anyway, you guys say this was a good one? Yeah, you guys? Yeah, you're good, you're good. Gonna be streaming the raid in about an hour 30. So don't worry, if you guys want to catch the raid, I'll be then there. Anyway, thank you guys. I'll see you guys later tonight or Friday for them duels. Alrighty, boys. You guys say this was a good one. Shaggy. Oh, okay. I thought it was cut off. Alrighty, boys. Peace.